Ivan Toney has joined the list of strikers Manchester United has been discussing in recent days as they look to continue to boost this squad, hoping that we'll be returning to winning ways. Welcome to the United of Sport. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Let's get into this Man United talk as we, of course, try to understand what exactly INEOS are cooking and hoping that it will all make sense. Like, share, and subscribe. There is a new update concerning the striking department because we are not done. And I'm not here to tell you that Joshua Zirkzee is off. No, United is advanced with Zirkzee, and the buyout clause will be triggered sooner than later. But in recent days, it has been reported by the Athletic that Manchester United has been discussing other strikers because, like I've been saying here, Man United historically has been known for having several strikers. I told you they also want to add more and bring in a striker who is a little bit more experienced than both Zirkzee and Hojlund. And they're talking of a player 27, 28, and above. Just a bit of experience, not too old, but more experienced than these two, to try and I think bring in a different dimension in terms of experience. So, according to what we get, Ivan Toney is re-emerging on the list. In recent weeks, they spoke about him in meetings, not him alone, but also the Everton striker who I spoke about here in Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who many will not be excited about. He's 27, Toney is 28. So, in terms of experience, they have got it, and they have played in the Premier League and scored quite a number of goals. But for me, I first of all like the fact that Ineos are open-minded and I think thinking big, saying we need depth in this squad. It is something we struggled with. Eric Ten Hag struggled with the lack of depth a lot, a lot, a lot. And obviously, the more players they give him in different departments, the better. But also, if you take it back to the times of Sir Alex Ferguson, the most successful Man United teams have always had several strikers. They've always had so many options of strikers in the team. And that gives you, I think, something to work with depending on the game because different opponents will need a different profile of a striker. So it's always going to be good. So Ivan Toney is re-emerging. Now, remember, both Toney and Calvert-Lewin are within the final year, getting within the final year of their contracts, and they have both made it clear to their clubs, that is Brentford for Toney and Everton for Lewin, that they are not going to be extending their stays. It's time for them to move on. Now, Ivan Toney might be priced at about of course, they were hoping for 60 million, but they surely should be able to cut it down to about 40, even less, between 35 to 45 or thereabout. Then for Calvert-Lewin, I think is priced at about 30 million pounds. But for me, Calvert-Lewin should not even be in the conversation. I personally don't rate him, honestly. I don't think, yes, I know he has got more experience than the two strikers we have, that Zirkzee and Hojlund, but I sort of like Ivan Toney, and there are people who will say that, how are we going to bring in a guy who was banned for months for breaching betting rules and stuff. I think the betting thing is a common thing in football today with these kids today, and I know that so many clubs are actually known for the way these players are punished. They are for more of rehabilitating them and stuff because it's easy for them to fall victim to this whole betting breaching these betting rules, and they just need to be helped because the pro. You look at Sandro Tonali at Newcastle United. Some of them have even admitted they have got a betting or a gambling problem, so they just need support, psychological support. But banning them is the current punishment at least available. But it's not a big deal, and he served his time. And for me, I'm for, if someone serves their time, let them move on. If someone is not guilty, move on. But of course, some United people try to be perfectionists in terms of behavior. If there's anything like that, there's no person who is perfect in terms of behavior. But for Ivan Toney, I like his animation. I feel like he's stubborn as a striker. He keeps defenses busy on the edges of their line. I feel like there's that dimension to his game that I like. Besides the penalties, for which he's trending globally, I think he's fast becoming the best penalty taker in the world because of that no-look penalty that he took against uh, against what was it, Switzerland. That's in the Euros, and he has certainly proven that over time that he's a brilliant penalty taker. But I think that one, I think, just put him in more light because the whole world was watching. But he has scored so many of those in the Premier League that it shouldn't be something people speak about now. I think those of us who have watched enough Premier League games know how good he is on the spot. But the thing is, for me, I personally think of all these options that we talk about, I think Tony is it. But look at the stats right there. These are the stats I try to dig for you on these strikers that were. Of course, Hojlund is already a United striker. Calvert-Lewin and Ivan Toney. And as you can see right there, it shows you the number of games played, the goals and assists in brackets, then the shots per goal, then the expected goals per 90 minutes, and of course shots per 90 minutes. Now you can see Ivan Toney there. Last season played 17 games. He's he scored 4 goals and assisted 2 times. That's 6 direct goal contributions. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin played 32 games, scored 7 goals and assisted twice. Those are 9. But remember, he played 32 games. Ivan Toney played 17 because he was serving a ban. Then Rasmus Hojlund played 30 games, scored 10 goals, and assisted twice. That's in the Premier League. Those are 12 goal contributions. In all competitions, Hojlund scored, I think, about, was it 17 goals, I think, thereabout. So you look at that, such stats, and you're thinking, Dominic Calvert-Lewin cannot even be in the conversation. But Toney, with the ban he served, the psychological toll it must have had on him, still have managing to come back and scoring 4 goals and assisting twice for Brentford and helping them survive relegation because they missed him. For the games he wasn't there, it will be part of the reason why it went down for them, for Frank Thomas, and they were struggling and for survival by the end of the season. They were at the brink of relegation. They were, in fact, 16th on the pile, but perhaps mostly because they missed their starman for the most part of the season. So for me, I think Ivan Toney, and having been proven in England, played at the Euros, that alone makes him hot. I think if we are going to bring in a third striker, I think for me, it can be him. I would prefer Toney over Calvert-Lewin any day. I would have loved Sahu Girassi, but Girassi is already unveiled and going for a medical at Borussia Dortmund, so that's a gone case. Let's forget about that in case you didn't know. Last night he arrived in at Borussia Dortmund for his medical and later on sign his contract. So for me, Ivan Toney for now is a better option than all the rest we've been linked with. You can give me your opinion about that situation, but also whether or not you think we should be spending about 40 million quid on another striker if already we are spending 34 million pounds on Joshua Zirkzee and we spent 72 million quid on Rasmus Hojlund. Is it overspending? Honestly, what INEOS is doing for me is perfect. Remember, in the centre back department, they are bringing in 2 more. That's the plan. Jared Branthwaite, the bid is going in. Branthwaite, by the way, said he's not going to force a move. If Everton do not, want to cash in on him, he's not going to force it. So Branthwaite is there for the defenders. Then delete. Then Euro, the bid was accepted. It's now about up to the player to accept to join Man United. So those are 3 centre backs we're bringing in. We bring in 3 strikers. Then you bring in a holding midfielder. I'm hoping that in the next summer they could bring in another holding midfielder because I think Ugata alone is not really enough. We could need 1 more probably if the resources allow. So you look at what INEOS are really doing. They are really completely overhauling this squad. They are overhauling this squad, and they don't seem to have so much time to waste on going back and forth. So for me, depth in goals, because I mean football is goals. Goals are everything. Is never going to be too much. I don't think we can say we've got too much depth because what Ivan Toney gives us is a balance of age, that you have a 21-year-old, a 23-year-old, and a 28-year-old. That's depth in age, which is important. There are games where these kids will not be able to handle that. You need an experienced Ivan Toney. He will know what to do. Even if he's not going to play for full 90 minutes, he will come and be effective. So this is my opinion about this whole talk. For Calvert-Lewin, I think we can just kill that talk already. I don't think we should be spending 30 million quid on Calvert-Lewin. We would rather stay with just the 2 and hope that maybe the next summer that comes, we'll bring on a third one. We'll bring in a third one. But that's where we are. Man United talk. Like, share, subscribe. Expect more bids to go in. Expect some confirmations of deals done, probably. Some here with goals should be dropping. I told you before the end of this week, we should be dropping some here we goes here on the United Hotspot as Man United gets on to a flying start in this rebuild. The new season is set to be exciting. You better enjoy it with me here on the United Hotspot. My name is Webb. Peace, love, and harmony. I'll catch you later, fam.